So in this video, I'm going to get round to doing the opening, unboxing and everything for this 216mm WORX sliding mitre saw. I have got a sliding mitre saw from years and years ago, and it's in a bit of bad shape now. It's I started using it for cutting firewood, and it doesn't cut accurately anymore. It's seen better days. It's pretty worn out. And as you might have seen, I am doing the woodworking workshop. So this one's cordless, and I have no power in there. I have no lights in there at the minute. So it's a bit of a pain in the arse to run power over there temporarily. This means I can get all the sockets up, because I fit them with sort of like backboards behind them to fix them to. So I can take this over there, I can cut up all the boards I need, and I can do all that using a battery, which is perfect. So we're going to unbox this. I'm not sure how well this is going to work with the overhead camera on this one. Just have to open it and see. But yeah, let's get it open. So it's been sitting on the floor. I've been needing to open it and take a look. So let's get the old knife and cut into this thing and have a look. I've been using the WORX nail gun that you will have seen in the last video. I've been using that quite a bit, and I'm really pleased with that. I'm really impressed with the nail gun. It is excellent quality. So just pull all of this cardboard out. Lots of bits in there. I've never really thought about a cordless mitre saw before, but I always worried they'd be lacking power. So what we got our charger in there. So there's our charger. Let's have a look. So I can keep chargers here, there and everywhere. It's just the standard quick charger. So there's just the WORX quick charger in there for their standard power share batteries, which is great. Can switch the batteries between all the tools. Instruction manuals. Yeah, we'll look at that when we get stuck. There's your little dust bag. To be honest, I'll put that on there, but it's quite often handy to have extraction running off the back. Connect it up to your shop vac. Here's the extension feet that come out. This you can never go wrong with another battery. So another battery. Let's see how much power's in that. Oh, that needs charging. Only got one bar on that one. What's that? That's the 4 amp hour battery. So that's always good. Got our little bar, and then in the bottom here we've got the saw. So it's not too heavy. We'll lift that out, get rid of the box. I think that's everything. Just double check. Lots of packaging, foam to protect it, and the box is gone. So here we go. Here's the saw. So it orientates this way around. It's quite a small little thing, isn't it? And then we can take off this. It's just to protect the slides. Oh, you know these tags are important. Do not stick finger. No, it doesn't say that. Do not. It says. Move that. Check and make sure the workpiece is protruding out of the minimum length line indicated on the fence. Okay, boss. Get rid of that. We've got a big ass cable tie here that's holding the whole saw down. So we're going to cut that off. Like so. As you can tell, I just make all this up as I go along. So there we go. There's the. Ooh. Then you got, you got a flip latch on the front there, which you should be able to pull, twist it around to 0. we're going to do some test cuts on this and then check the angles to see how precise the angles are. Now, one of the things that I really didn't like with my old mitre saw, sliding mitre saw, was the back fence. The back fence was too easy to go out of a line from one side to the other, so you just wouldn't get very good cuts. So I spent some time trying to, you know, square it up to the blade. Got it as best as I could, but it wasn't amazing. WORX holding lever holds material to both sides of the saw blade. Oh, beautiful. These look like these go in here, which they do. So they're just going to be to support the wood a bit further outside of the saw. This battery, like I say, is almost flat, so I'm going to need to charge that battery, or just grab one of my other batteries. Here's the bag. That's literally just got like a push clip on it, so you're just going to push that, get that onto the back. I will put that on there. Less mess, the better. So that's quite a nice. That feels a nice mechanism. That's got a nice click to it. What we'll do is I'll test some cuts. I'll do some test cuts. I'll then check it against the engineer's square, set square, see how square the cuts are, and I'll also do some cuts at sort of like 45 degrees, etc., to check how good they are. But yeah, so I'll lock that up for now at the back. And then down the bottom, it's hard for me to get that on video, but down here at the back underneath the blade, we've got the rotation, so you can do like compound angles. You could put a 45 here, 45 there, do a compound angle, and then the laser lights under there as well. The whole thing isn't that heavy, so yeah, you could travel around with it. Obviously, you've got these, you can pick it up with them. It's not too heavy, so let's get this battery on charge, and then let's have a look. So I thought I'd just bring the camera down. Now I've just charged the battery, so the battery is pretty much full. We've got it. That was almost done. So as you can see out of the box, it comes pretty much ready to roll. You've just got to put these extra side supports in, which, as I showed, just clip in there. Put your dust bag on the back there, and then you've got this. This is to lock. If you've used a sliding mitre saw or a mitre saw, you probably know what this is. This locks it to stop it from moving. So once that's just tightened up, you won't be able to. Okay, once that's tightened up, now you can't move it. So you got to give it a nice tension. But now you can't move it. It's locked in a straight parallel cut at 0 degrees. So that's on there. So you just got to add that, because obviously it sticks out quite a bit, so it's easier to not have it on there for the shipping. You've got your battery, and under here, if you have a look, you've got there's your laser, and then what you've got, you can't pull that in. There's this little tiny lever right here. So as you go to pull that in, you just flick that over with your finger, and that'll pull the trigger. Now, if you don't want it is quite quick and easy to take this off. If you didn't want this on there for some reason, you've got a job that is in the way. This is where they're obviously telling you that the minimum length, it should come past this line here. So it should come past this line here. They're saying that is the minimum length you should put in there to cut. I mean, I'm used to putting things up here, so, but anyway, that's down to your own safety. They're just advising that they advise it comes past this line. That way it's held by the clamp and it's not going to fling up or anything like that. So if you want to just take this clamp down mechanism off, there's literally just a little tiny, you just flick this around here. That just turns around. You do the same on the other side. Just twist that round. And then you can quite literally just lift this whole mechanism out of the saw and not have it on there, and then when you want it back, it literally just drops back into place, and you just twist those two clips back round again like so, and that's it. It's now back in place. It doesn't come off, and so you can hold this with your left hand and then use your right hand to pull the saw down. So that's that. So what we're going to do is we're going to throw the battery on there. I've got some tools out, set square, digital, angle, and a manual one. I just got that out as well just in case. And let's throw the battery on. Now the battery goes on the back here, if you can just see around there. So the battery goes just around the back there, and we'll just slide that in like so. A bit tough one-handed. Make sure it's tightened up on the back so that, I don't know if you just saw it, it moves side to side. So basically, if you want to tilt it to use the side angle or use it for compound angles, you just untwist this one at the back here, use your anti-clockwise, and then that will let you tip the saw right over. So you can tip that right over now, and then there's your angles at the back there. So that's at 45 degrees. I'll test that as well, but first of all, you've got your stop. So if you need to make any adjustments to your zero, if it's just slightly out, if it's not quite parallel when it cuts, you can just tweak that on with that stop. So we'll just lock that back up, and then let's do a few cuts, see what it sounds like. Is it noisy? Does it cut nice? Let's find out. So what we're going to do for our first test is just got this bit of pine. We're just going to put this in here. We're going to test how well it cuts, and then we'll test how square it is. There's your clamp down mechanism. If that's just pushing that down, stops it moving about so much. And I haven't got ear defenders on at the minute. I'm going to see how noisy it is and then decide whether I need ear defenders. So let's just fire the blade up, see what it sounds like. Sounds nice and smooth. So let's move this along a little bit so we can get a nice clean bit of board. Push that down, make sure it's nicely pushed against the back, and then let's do a cut. Well, that's certainly cut nice and smooth and sounded good. We did miss a tiny little bit here because we need to come past the center of the blade, so we'll just bring it out a little bit. There we go. It's nice. That's a really nice clean cut. It's a brand new blade, so I would expect it to be, but that's a nice smooth, really smooth cut, considering it's just a crappy old pine. So let's have a look with the set square, and what you're looking for is to see if you can see any light between the wood and the side. If there's any light, then it's not a perfect right angle. Obviously the sides of this, I'm relying on the sides of this piece of wood. I didn't cut that, that's obviously, but that looks pretty. I don't know if you can see that, but I can't see any light coming through there. That looks a nice 90 degree cut. So I'm pleased with that. So I'll just do one more little cut on this. We'll just use the sliding mechanism this time. So if we just bring this up a little bit more so you can see it slide. Okay, so I was thinking it fired straight up without the me flicking the power switch. That isn't the power switch. That little switch there is just to turn the laser on. Let's see if you can see that. You can just about see that in there, the laser. And let's see. So you can't see the laser, so the laser is dead on line with. If we put that back, you can now see the laser again. So it was dead on line pretty much with where the laser says it was going to be. Can't complain about that. let's try some angled cuts, because this is the most important part really. So I'm going to put this round now to 45 degrees. So this is now at 45 degrees. And we're going to do a cut at 45 degrees, and then we're going to measure that and see how accurate that 45 degree cut is, because that's the most important part. You want, if you're going to make a picture frame or something, you need that to line up. Otherwise, if it's not perfect, you're going to get gaps in your corners, and then it just looks dog shit. So I'm just going to bring it up so it's under both of the clamps, this side and that side, and then we're going to do a little 45 degree cut. That way we've got it nicely clamped down both sides. We can make sure nothing's going to flick up, and we can then check the 45 degree angle. So come out further side first. And that should be through. So there's our off cut. Here's our 45 degree angle cut here. And what we'll do is we'll measure that. So pop the old, there, so you can see it's set at 0. The two pieces are parallel. Just loosen that off. And we'll just put this on here. Lock it up. That's coming in, like I say, you've got to allow for a bit of deviation in the sides of the wood, but that's coming in at, see that, 45.3. So I'll do another one, I'll do it at a different angle this time, and we'll just check that. But like I say, if you haven't got, if your angle's not at 45, if it's not reliable, when you put these together, as you can see here, when you put them together, if it's not dead 45 degrees, when you put them together and then throw your set square over the top, you might not notice it on the first corner, but if you're doing something like a picture frame, once you get around to the third or fourth corner and you try to make the whole thing line up, you're going to get gaps in your frame corners, and that does just look dog awful. So that lines up nicely. There's no real gaps there. It's lining up. Yep, so I'm happy with that. My other one, like I say, I know I could spend a lot more time on it, setting it up, but the back fence is terrible. So we'll just loosen this off, and let's go for a 15 degrees this time, and I can just tighten that back up there. So that's at 15 degrees. Put this back there. We'll put it back underneath for safety. We'll put that back underneath the clamp. Shouldn't be showing you any bad ways, not in this video. So we're at 15 degrees now. We'll do this cut. Cuts nice and easy. So here's our 15 degree cut we've got. We're going to check that one. Let's see what that comes out at. Let's tighten that up. Same again. So we're getting, it's 15 degrees. So you got to add that on to the, you got to deduct that from 90, and we're getting 75.2. I would be surprised if the back one was perfect straight out the box. We should actually check the ends, because if that one's out, then you're going to notice that down your cut. If that one's not dead at 0, you're going to notice that down your cut. You're going to see light. It's not going to be cutting dead parallel. Probably easier if you check that on something a lot thicker, so you can really see if there's any deviation in it, if there's any movement. But on these thin ones, not a problem. That looks good on these thin ones. But let's try it at a different angle now. So we'll undo that, and we'll take it right round to, should we take it to 45, or let's take it to 45, because it's got to stop at 45, which means it should be reliable if it's got to stop there. So it's set to 0 on the swivel base, set to 45 on the back. So this could once again be a picture frame if you wanted to cut it this way, and we'll hold that down, and you should be able to see that quite well on the camera. Let's we'll we'll cut this one this way. So there's our 45-degree cut on there. Nice and smooth. I'll rotate this back just so it's easier to work with. So that's now back at 0, pushes against the stop, locks it up. So here's our 45-degree cut here. So these two should nicely line up and make a 90-degree angle. If we get this in here on the camera, you've got, it's hard to see, I'm sorry it doesn't focus amazingly. So you've got your 40, you've got your 50, and it doesn't, I can't get it to focus very well. It is actually on 45 on this one. This one's obviously manual. You could have a little bit of deviation in this, it's not perfect. But they're both registering pretty much 45 and it lines up, which is the important thing. As long as it goes together, that's what matters. So that's cut pretty nice. I'm pretty pleased with that. That's made a bit of a mess. Obviously, when I'm doing the angles, that wasn't able to, for all of it to go up into the dust bag. But like I say, to be honest with you, if you're cutting a lot of wood, I do think having extraction on the back of these mitre saws is better. It's better to have. I used to run my old ones with my overhead extraction. Mitre saws are messy buggers. And then what I'm going to do is I'm going to do some videos in the woodworking wood shop using this to put the sockets up on the walls, because I need to get all of those up. I need to get the power in there, and then I'm going to also use that. I'm also going to put in there a video using the nail gun, because I need to board all the walls up. So this will be doing a lot of the chopping for the panels to go in the walls, and yeah, pretty impressed with that. It's not too heavy, I can move that around. And then one thing I was wondering, this is one thing I have messaged the WORX about, and I haven't had a reply yet, is to ask about the option of, it would be a nice idea, to be honest, if this saw, it's being cordless, which is great, but sometimes you might not want it cordless. You might have it just like docked on your desk, and it'd be nice if you could just mains power it. So I don't see any adapter available for this, so that you can just slot in there and then plug it in the wall. I haven't seen one. I don't see why you can't make one though. I don't see what, I'm thinking, if they don't do one, I can't see why I can't 3D print an adapter to go in here. So the power sockets are just there, they are for the battery. If they don't do one, I'm tempted to design and 3D print one, just an adapter that slides in up to the pins with a plug-in transformer, and then have it so it's also mains powered if you want to use it in like a static position in the workshop. So that's something I'm going to be looking at. Obviously it's great that it's cordless, but sometimes, you know, if your battery's dead, or you just don't need to move it, and you're just going to have it on the desk. I don't see why it's not a lot of work just to be able to add an adapter on there that clicks into place like the battery, and then it just needs to be like a battery shell almost, and then plugs into a cheap transformer on the wall that's going to allow you to run it off the mains. So that's something I'm definitely going to be looking at as a future project, to try and get that also being able to be mains powered. But yeah, that's the 216mm sliding mitre saw from the WORX. Let me know what you think of it. There's your blade in there. So as you can see, it's a 40 tooth carbide teeth blade, 216mm, and it's 2mm wide. So it's got a 2mm width of cut, and that's the blade that comes with it. Obviously you can change that if you want. If maximum RPM 7,000, it's nice and sharp. But yeah, let me know what you think. Is this something you'd be interested in? Do you need more cordless tools? Do you need a cordless mitre saw? Like I say, it's not something I'd originally considered that I needed a cordless miter saw, but once I realised I needed to get the power up in there, I decided this would be the one for the job, and I trust their tools, so there it is. Thanks for watching. Don't forget to like and subscribe, and leave your comments below. Anything else you'd like to see, any other tests you want to see on this that I haven't done. The angle test for me and its accuracy, they were the main ones I was interested in. That's the main thing I'm interested in when it comes to a slide-in miter saw, or just a miter saw in general. And this one, I won't be showing it the same abuse as my old one. And see you all again soon.